recap from last week. I thought we played solid offensively and defensively, special teams. The things that really hurt us were, of course, the 5 turnovers. Anytime you turn the ball over 5 times and you miss 3 field goals, that's gonna hurt you. I thought of course, I don't watch the film and I don't see a whole lot because in between series we're discussing offensive plays and stuff. But I thought our defense played an outstanding game. They shut them down for what I saw, and we got the back like they did the week before against Tech. Though we moved the ball well against them offensively, I think we averaged 5 point something a play. Ultimately, it was the turnovers that got us beat. The turnovers and the field goals, and you can say the last play, but heck, it should have never gotten down to that. Thought we could have done better than that last play, but we didn't. Bottom line, we didn't. We gotta overcome that, and if we're in that situation again, we can't have that happen. I think we're a better football team than that. I think we're a better offense than that, and I think we'll get past that next time. Questions now, Josh, or do I go on?
Talk a little bit about Tennessee State.
Okay. Tennessee State, they're 7-0. I don't know what they're ranked. I know they're ranked, I think 18th was the last I saw. 15th now. Moved to 15th. Last week, 15th. And so they'll probably be up more than that. I think they're one of 4 teams that are undefeated in the nation. That has a lot to say about them. If you come to the game, you see them. Every year we play them, they've got some of the best players I've ever seen now. Max can talk a little bit about that later. They'll be big up front. They can run. They beat Eastern Kentucky, who we lost to, of course. They're undefeated. Looks like their rusher had, I think, 42 attempts last week for 267 yards. So evidently they've got a really good tailback. I've seen them very briefly on their offense, just because I just flipped over and looked at them real quick so I could say something about them. Looks like they're big up front. They run the ball really well. The quarterback's back. Defensively, based out of 4-3, looks like they're designed to stop the run first. Statistically, they are in the top in almost every defensive category, top 2 or 3 in every defense category, like they always are. I think that it'll be a challenge for us. We gotta, it's an early football game on national TV, so we gotta be ready to play. Any questions?
Ronnie, talk a little about before I ask you about Tennessee State a little bit more about their defense, talk a little about your offense and the proficiency of it. I mean, you're like 18th rushing, you're 20th total offense in the country. Can you just kind of speak to how that's been going?
Other than the turnovers, I think we played pretty good this year. The 2 games we lost in conference, it goes back to turnovers. We don't turn the football over. We're going to be in those football games. We were in this one, but I'm talking about EKU also. We've got great running backs, good offensive line. They've been, knocking people off the ball. We protected the best this past week than I think we protected all year. I don't think the quarterback got hit except when he held the ball to scramble some. One thing that we do a little bit different than some people is we run our quarterback, and that helps the run game. I think it helps the passing game. I think being able to run the football also helps the passing game. When we get in trouble, when we do things outside of character and don't do what we're coached to do, or what's outside the system, I think is when we get in a little bit of trouble. But other than that, I think that you put the players in position to make plays, and our guys have been making plays. You go back and you look, I think we've had a 100-yard runner the last 3 ball games, and DeMarcus being twice, and was Sean this past week. And before that, Tremaine Pope did it against, I believe he rushed for 100 against Chattanooga. Then he got nicked up. But, so it shows that your offense line is blocking well in the run game, and evidently you've got pretty good runners. So I mean, football's football, Al. You put them in position to make plays, and if they make plays, they make plays. You know, and I think our guys make plays.
One of the things, go back to the last play last week just for a second. One of the things Coach Crow was talking about was that Clay was just trying too hard to make a play. And, you know, when running away from the pressure and then, you know, just trying to get something done. And he said, you know, that's an admirable quality at times, but sometimes he wishes he would be a little more conservative in that approach. How do you balance that?
It's a double-edged sword now. You know, it'll win that ball game right out there against SEMO when he didn't. He probably could have thrown it away earlier and played another play, but he throws the ball in the end zone. We beat SEMO, I think, 2 years ago out here. But then this year, you know, it hurt us. You know, he should have thrown the ball away. And he knows that. You know, he's smart enough to know that. You know, he's brought us back, you know, at Ole Miss on the last drive to tie it. You know, Chattanooga this year to kick it. You know, he's done it many times, and he expects to do it and expects us for him to score the winning touchdown. But this time, you know, it just didn't happen that way. We could have, you know, thrown it away. And I think when the ball was snapped, it was a penalty on us, so it got moved back, I think, to the 20, 22-yard line, roughly in there. And when the play clock, or when the play started, not actually when the ball was snapped, there was 24 seconds on the clock, or 25 seconds on the clock. So you should have at least 2 plays. You know, you can't hold the football in that situation. You got to throw it away. They had a good call, you know, and got a little bit of pressure late and try to make something out of nothing. And I use this. You say, how do you coach them? Don't make a bad play worse. He made a bad play worse, you know. And now he has made a bad play better many a times by doing it. But you got to. It's a double-edged sword, you know. And as a coach, sometimes you got to take the good with the bad. You just got to hope that, you know, you got to know to throw the ball away earlier and get the ball out of bounds. Bottom line. And I believe he'll do that, you know, 9 times out of 10, you know. And I trust him to do it, and I expect him to do it, and I believe he will from now on.
Just 2 other things. What's the push forward now with the club? You know, you're 3-3, 2-2. You know, you're playing an undefeated team that's 2 games ahead of you in the race. Yeah,
you know, you look at it game to game, Al. You can't look further than the opponent you got. You got to go and dominate your opponent. You know, that's what your goal is every week, no matter what. I don't care if you're undefeated or if you're over. You gotta take the approach every week. You can't be looking at back. You can't look forward. You got to look at the team that you're playing. Bottom line is go and play the most complete game you possibly can against the opponent that you're playing, and, you know, put everything out there and see how the chips fall.
And lastly, would you speak to the fellow who's sitting right there next to you? I mean, he got thrown into being the center as a freshman and is obviously elevated his game. He's anchored. You know, you expect young guys to be able to do that.
That's why we recruit them, right? You know, that's why we put them on scholarship. Right? His dad played Alabama. You know, it's in his blood. I think his mom might be more of a hard rear end than his daddy, though. I think she's one who drives him more than anything. You know, his football's in his family. You know, I don't think Max would know what to do if he didn't have football. He loves it. He's in the past, I guess I've been here 9 years straight now. In the past 9 years, he might be the most complete center we've had of understanding the football game, being physical, knowing why people do certain things to you. You know, it's for a quarterback. You know, we make what we call mic calls. You know, the quarterback's technically the guy who's going to call it, but Max is able to call it before we do. Well, I don't know that. You know, sometimes those offensive line get their mindset just on those guys right there. He can see outside of just that box and understand why people are doing things to us. Alerting the quarterback, here comes something, you know, if he doesn't see it. And I think he and Quez have a really good relationship. I think he and Cody have a good relationship. I think it's always important to have a great relationship with, first of all, the offensive line, but also with that center, because you got to make sure you're protected, or you got to make sure that the running back's protected at all costs. So You never want to have negative plays. I went back and looked. I think we had one negative play of -2 yards last week on a run, and that's what you look at. Not having negative plays. And you're saying, well, interceptions. No, yeah, those are totally different. I'm just talking about those 0 sacks. You know, one rush that was a negative play. You know, you eliminate those, you're gonna be, of course, eliminating turnovers. It's haunting me right now. You know, when I sleep at night, I don't sleep very good because I think about that stuff. But you know, those are things that we got to overcome. You know, and be better next week when we do it. You know, I think we've been, you know, one of the top teams before in America have not turned the football over, and we got to get back to that.